Howdy ho YouTube, this is Tolstoy Gatsby doing a video that I'm sure will rate very poorly. The crap video just to rant a little bit, because sometimes I feel like I don't really, I know this is going to come off as crazy, but sometimes I feel like I don't get in my opinions enough. I know, right? Okay, well, what I want to talk to you today is about RPGs. Now, the day was on GameTrailers.com, and I pulled up not the trailer, actually the review for the new 360 game, Lost Odyssey. Okay, and they're talking about, you know what, a lot of Japanese RPGs, which would normally go on a Sony system, are going on 360, which is, you know, whatever, that's a different whole political thing to, oh crap, drop some change. That's a whole other thing to talk about. Anyway, I want to talk to you the reason why I have a problem with RPGs. And I love RPGs, and I like playing them, and I kind of like the whole thing about them. It's just that I have a problem with almost every RPG that comes out, and it's that, well, where do I start? Let's talk about what I think is a perfect RPG, what I think is a really good RPG, a very solid RPG here I have in my collection. I think you know what it's going to be, because I bought it like twice. Let me grab a couple games here. Where did it go? Yoink. 1, 2, 3. I have like a whole pile of games here just to show off. What I think was a perfect RPG, the RPG that was like the best ever so far. Skies of Arcadia. This was my GameCube. This was the second GameCube game that I ever bought, was Skies of Arcadia. And the reason I liked it so much, well, they did everything right. First of all, the battle system was amazing. If you've ever played Skies of Arcadia, talk about just the game itself. The battle system was very, very well. It was turn-based, but it was quick-paced. And their battles never felt too long. Sometimes they were a little too long, but they never lost that epicness. I mean, you could get locked into a battle with a really strong character, and it could take you like 45 minutes. But every button you pressed, every second you waited, and every turn that you took where the enemy got their chance to take a licking, you'd be gripping your control pad, saying, "Not now, come on, live through it," or "Heal, you gotta heal, come on." And it was very good. Besides that, was this thing photocopied? I don't know. Besides that, I thought that the story itself, that's one thing that I don't like about a lot of RPGs, is that the stories are always so bloody cliche. Oh my god. I'm sorry, you Final Fantasy fans, but oh my god. Viral fantasy, that's what I call it, viral fantasy. Viral fantasy is I think, almost basically any Japanese RPG is like just loaded with these cliches. Even the new Lost Odyssey thing, that's what made me start thinking about it, is that somehow it links into a soldier who's, quote, lost his memory. Amnesia? Oh my god, how many more of these anime characters are going to get amnesia? Anyway, and it's not that this didn't have its own cliches. I mean, we're talking Sky Pirates and, you know, action adventure and Saturday morning cartoon, and I'm like, yes, but they managed to pull off the cliches quite well. It's like, and they even threw in some things in there, some emotional, the character development wasn't bad. The acting, well, there was no acting, but the script wasn't written really, really cartoonily like some, you know, some Japanese RPGs can be. And besides that, one thing that I have to say about the characters is that oftentimes in Japanese RPGs, good God, what is it with the Final Fantasy obsession with making the men look like women?
Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine, ha-ha! Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
Making the men look like women, and also, why is it their costumes have to look like they were designed by, like, you know, a spider on crank or something like that, like a spider that's a fashion model that's like on crank. It's like, this was Mrs. Vise, one of the main characters from the series, and if you look at his costume, it looks kind of piratish, and sure, it's got some weird buckles on there and everything, but if you look, most of the characters in this had relatively normal outfits, or outfits that I could even accept. I like the art style a lot, but in, like, Final Fantasy and crap, well, no, not all Final Fantasies. Another one that was okay was, let's see, do I have it here? Let me see. Yeah. Final Fantasy 4, which was never released in America until now. Some of the costumes in this are acceptable because this is a more medieval theme as opposed to an Eastern magic theme, whatever. Let's see if I can. Well, this is going to take like 10 minutes, and now I'm going to go over the limit. So these costumes are a little down to earth, I think. More down to earth than normal stuff. I can accept this. I can accept kind of these costumes. But a lot of times you're just saying, like, you know, they have to... This meta in this is still flamboyant, which pisses me off. I mean, I'm sorry, I do not understand girly men heroes. You know, I'm Metal Gear Solid, God of War. They gotta be, you know, action heroes. Good lord. Not always, but I mean... Whatever, I think you get my point. So we've identified what I think is the perfect RPG. Let me identify now what is not an RPG. And I don't know why sometimes people say that these are RPGs. Okay, first one. Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda is an adventure game. It is a great adventure game. It is a staple of gaming. It is not an RPG. What if this makes you think it is a role-playing game? There has to be basically numbers and hacking. You know, hacking away and trying to level up. That to me is an RPG. This does not count. Another one that doesn't count, either System, which I do have the original System, and also BioShock. I have System Shock and BioShock. These games have RPG elements, okay? RPG elements. Okay, some elements does not an RPG make. Still an excellent game, not saying anything bad about it, but I don't think it counts as an RPG. Just my opinion. Paper Mario was another interesting one. Paper Mario was a good RPG. Why do I say that? Because it's not cliché. It is cliché, but I'm saying, good lord, at least it's not about a bunch of flamboyant kids trying to save the world from a dark, evil magic or something like that. It's, you know, it's Super Mario. I couldn't finish it, and the reason I couldn't finish is that I really don't like Mario. I'm sorry. It's not that I hate Mario, it's just that Mario... I don't identify with an overweight plumber in a magical world where, like, there's no death and nobody says any death. Like, they don't say you're gonna die. They say, like, you know, you're going to be destroyed or whatever. I don't know. Or, like, it's just, I never identified with that series. You know, it's like I never had any cartoon characters that I identified with. You know, it's like you have your WB characters like Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny, and then you have, like, Disney. I never understood. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Disney, another good RPG. And I know what you're gonna say. You probably already have it in your minds, but let me find it in here. Where is it? There's one... Oh, well, we only need one. Kingdom Hearts. Oh my gosh, I like Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why I like Kingdom Hearts, because it's like, Final Fantasy, I think, is really melodramatic, and oftentimes it makes me want to spew, but Final Fantasy characters, even as poorly acted as they are, even Haley Joel Osment, I think, AI Kid, I think that his acting could have done better even in this, but... Mix that with Disney characters which I do not like, and for some reason it's like crap and crap makes wonderful. Like, you know, nasty tasting and like, you know, peanut butter and jelly together, well, peanut butter and jelly are good separately, but together they're even better for some odd reason, so I really like Kingdom Hearts. No idea why, but I love Kingdom Hearts. And, I'm not even, you know, I think it has something to do with the ADD in gamers. It's like, you know, it's like, by the time that you start realizing, hey, this world is really lame, they take you on to the next one. Like, you're in, like, you know, Aladdin, and by, like, you know, in a half hour you're like, okay, this is getting old. I'm like, okay, well, let's go play in, you know, the Peter Pan or Nightmare Before Christmas or whatever, yeah. And even the Square Enix design, I think, was a little more down to earth. Not the best, but it's like, I can kind of understand their weirdo flamboyant outfits or something like that, because, I don't know, just in this I can accept it more often. Square Enix, though, I'll tell you this, I am actually excited for Crisis Core coming out on the PSP. Not even sure why, but I am really anticipating Crisis Core. And, of course, Chains of Olympus. Yeah! Okay, besides that, RPGs I did not like. Mass Effect. Did not like it. I just didn't. It just didn't like it. I don't know why. Don't ask me, please. Oblivion. I loved Morrowind. Let's see if I have Morrowind here in my little drawer of doom. Let's see. Got Half-Life here. Got Call of Duty. Got more Half-Life. I have Journeyman 2. If anyone remembers Journeyman, it was like a 90s Myst ripoff. Black and White Creature Island. 4-pack containing Deus Ex. I can't find where I put Morrowind. I played and beat Morrowind with a character I called Seuss, which, yeah. Anyway, but I didn't like Oblivion, and I think a lot of people didn't, and I have a really good reason why. Note to Bethesda. Morrowind was far more fantastical. You know, the creatures were